Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Apologize for the technical difficulties. And I am going to hopefully you can see me. So I want to welcome everybody. This is our first webinar of the season. We're going to be doing basically a quick introduction to our process for selecting the next-gen ELMS system. So as most of you know, our selection is in structure. Canvas is the product. We went through a very extensive process to do this, and so today I'm going to cover the process that we went through, as well as some of the strengths of the product, some of the implementation process that we're going through, and then answer any questions that you might have. So to get started, basically, you'll just see me talking for the most part, and I don't really have any slides or anything on this process because it's really a relatively, extensive process, pretty straightforward. We started this process in the fall of 2010. An RFI went out in October of 2010. An RFI is a request for information from a variety of LMS providers. Those providers include Blackboard, Desire to Learn, Moodle, Instructure, Sakai, and then a couple others like ePearson's Learning Studio, aka eCollege, and another product called eRacer from another vendor. And what we did is we narrowed that down from a process of from the 7 that responded to 5. And in the spring of 2011, we conducted a live pilot in 24 courses that each system had at least 4 classes taught in it. The 5 systems that we looked at that point were Sakai, Moodle, sponsored by Moodle Rooms, Desire Learn, Blackboard, and Canvas. In that process, we gathered a number of pieces of information. We worked with our faculty pretty extensively who were part of the pilot. And in that pilot, we asked for faculty to do pre-surveys and post-surveys, as well as a variety of feedback sessions during the semester. And we actually did some focus groups and met with the faculty to understand their experience of each of the systems. We also got feedback from the students who are participating in each of those systems in the pilots. Now, we also had to take a look at not just the user experience, but also the technical experience that was part of this. And in that, what we did was provide our technical team, which basically looked at the infrastructure pieces, security, critical to how it would integrate with our campus systems as one team. And we had another team that focused on more the administrative and support pieces. So that's a lot of the staff you work with on a day-to-day basis using ELMS and the other systems that you work with within ELMS. At the end of that semester, the evaluation committee, which was a faculty committee made up of representatives from every college. It was a committee of about 18. So all the colleges were represented. We also had a number of students on the committee, 2 undergraduate students and 2 graduate students actually, who participated in this process. And they were able to provide, take the information that was provided by the pilot faculty, the student feedback, as well as the reports from the technical and support teams to provide some information about what would really be required out of a system based on what they learned from the current systems. As you're aware that, the current Blackboard system we run is an older system. They have, the next generation has been out for a while. And so compared to that, all of the systems are much more updated than the ones that we currently use. We took that information and were able to build a strong set of requirements for what kind of system that we needed. It was really important to have that faculty input in that process. It was a pretty vocal group of faculty who participated in it, and so I think we had a really good set of information that was able to create that set of requirements. Now, in the interim, we discovered that the Maryland Enterprise Education Consortium was also doing an RFP process that would select, in a sense, a set of LMS systems as a master contract. And in that master contract, we would be able to do something a little faster than doing a general RFP in this process. And in that, we were able to look at those systems and then do a competition. So as we waited for the individuals to get that MEEC system, that Maryland Enterprise system, to go through their process. So we had hoped to actually go through this process and be able to start our process earlier in the year. They were completed in March with their piece, and in that we needed to look at a variety of systems from that group. So in the beginning of April, we sent out a task order request, and that task order request was based off of the MEEC contract. And we invited 3 of the 5 vendors that were part of the MEEC agreement, and those 3 were Blackboard, Moodle Rooms, and Instructure. And we started reviewing those systems. Only 2 of those systems actually responded to our request, and so we basically did a comparison between Blackboard and Instructure at that time. That was a very abbreviated time frame. We had a faculty committee who was basically they had the most weight in this. We clearly wanted to make this a choice that faculty were aware of, that faculty knew that it was their voice that we were hearing. In addition to that faculty committee, again, we had a technical committee and a support committee to be able to look more in depth at each of these systems than we did maybe in the previous evaluation during the RFI process. In that process, we compared the systems. We actually did a comparative analysis with common tasks, both from the support committee as well as from the faculty committee. And the recommendation, as you know, was Instructure by Canvas. And so we have selected at the beginning of July. So since then, we've been moving forward with that process. So at this point, I want to see if anybody has any questions about the process, about what was considered. Any questions at this point? If not, I will go ahead and talk about a few strengths of the system. One of the major strengths that really drew us to Canvas was the fact that of the notification system, that students and faculty can choose how they're notified by the system about assignments, communications, discussion, information, everything. And they can choose to receive it via text, email, as well as any number of integrations with social media such as Twitter or Facebook. So it really allowed the students to feel that they could get the information where they're going to want it most. In addition, there's a very intricate way of, or intricate, flexible way of providing feedback within the system. And that feedback really can come from a normal text. Like if you're working in Blackboard right now, you generally work within a text type of feedback. You'll, as you're responding and doing an assignment, you're going to give a text-based response. Within Canvas, you can provide an audio response, a video response, a text-based response, and your students can respond in kind. So if you've used something like Wimba Voice Tools, this is all built in to the Canvas system. And you'll be able to create, discussion boards that integrate audio and video very easily. And, just using the webcam that's on your computer or the microphone or however you would capture that information on your own computer. So it was a really strong point coming from our faculty, the faculty team that evaluated the system. Another very strong point that all of the faculty seemed to love was a tool called SpeedGrader. SpeedGrader is actually a system that allows you to easily go through each individual assignment, each individual quiz very quickly and provide a grade. It just goes one to the other rather than a number of clicks going back to get to the next assignment to pick up the document, read it, and move forward. And so it provides a very quick way to do that. One of the ways it makes it even faster, the way it integrates with the tool within the system called rubrics. And it has the rubric tool within the system is very easy to create a generalized rubric or a very specific rubric for your assignment for your class. And so it's one of a very strong tool within the system. So you can provide to the students a very clear idea of what the expectations are, what the scales are for each of the criteria that you're going to be evaluating. In the SpeedGrader, then, you just click which one of those they achieved, and you're able to get that information very quickly. So it's a fantastic piece of information that made it available to the faculty for a very quick grading process, much less cumbersome than the other systems. Another piece that coincides with this is an aspect of analytics. Within the system, there are a variety of analytics that you can get. You can get, at a course level, you can see analytics down to the individual question for an individual student or for the whole class, and I believe even for groups in this process. We can also take the analytics broader and actually see that how students are doing, the contacts and things like that within the whole system. So there's a very strong component of analytics that really can help improve the learning experience for your students. You can review those analytics to see what kind of questions are causing problems for students and adjust as necessary. With that concept and with the rubrics, another piece that's very important in all of our programs are various learning outcomes. The learning outcomes are important in understanding, what's a generalized goal. You could have learning outcomes for your course, you could have learning outcomes for your program, or as we started with this fall, the new general education program has a learning outcomes set. Again, the learning outcomes can be set either at a course level, a college level, department level, or even at the university level. So you'll be able to actually use these learning outcomes to build those rubrics and then be able to actually make those available for grading criteria if necessary, or just to know if the students are achieving those outcomes. It's a very powerful tool that can be used. The reports from that can also give you information about how students are achieving those outcomes. So it's a very interesting and strong tool to work with. One other piece that I want to mention that I was just talking with one of my staff is their mobile aspect of this is that they have a great mobile tool that we'll make available as we launch the next gen ELMS canvas later in the fall, and it provides a lot more functionality than our current ELMS mobile app does, and I think it'll give you more functionality and interactivity than most of the systems that I've seen, even functioning for the Blackboard mobile app that's out on the market. They do have access for both iOS or Apple devices as well as Android devices, and they also have mobile application that their system will function very well from the web page on a mobile device. So it'll provide much more access than we've currently had with our mobile technology. So any questions about the system itself? I'm talking a lot and my tongue is swelling as I'm talking, so, so I'm sounding a little thick-tongued at the moment. So Derek asks where the mobile app will be available from. We'll ensure that there will be links from the ELMS site to the mobile app, since there will be both Android and iOS availability. The iOS will most likely come from the Apple Store. You could probably search it now. I haven't done that myself. But we will make sure that those links are available from our ELMS site. So let me talk a little bit about our implementation process. As I said, really we signed the contract about 2 months ago. So we're kind of in an accelerated process, or a pretty quick turnaround with this. And so our intent is to have the full aspect of Canvas available to faculty and everybody using Canvas come winter term. And when we do that, we're going through a process right now to ensure that we have all of the pieces together. Danae Johnson has just asked me, when will instructors be able to play around with Canvas in order to learn the system? It's an excellent question and fits very close to rollout. What we're looking at doing is making sure that we have a stable system available that's going to be similar to what will be the final rollout system. You can go ahead and currently see what's available. If you go to our blog.umd.edu/ELMS, there is access to some spaces that you'll be able to take a look and see how Canvas works. But you'll also be able to go to probably sometime mid-October, so in a few weeks, you'll be able to request sandbox spaces where you're going to be able to have your own space to play around with and learn the system. Similarly, that'll be one aspect for you to be able to learn. We'll also have a variety of online materials available for you. You'll be able to set up consultations. We'll have clearly face-to-face workshops as well as online, tutorials available to learn the system. So if you're not, some people are really comfortable just kind of jumping out there and learning it on their own and don't want a lot of documentation. Other people like to have some more guidance and documentation for that. So we're trying to make sure that everybody has a way to learn it that they're comfortable with. So some will be text-based. We'll definitely have some multimedia available, video tutorials, as well as text-based guides. So we want to make sure that we meet, your needs in learning the system. Now, right now, some of you are aware that we have a pilot going on. So we have about 60 faculty who are participating in this pilot. And what we're doing is we're learning from them as we go along about, as we jump into a new system, we always know that the faculty are going to find things that even in our best efforts, we can't find because you push the system much further than we can. And through that, we're learning how to best support you and the system as we move forward with the full implementation. A very important piece of our rollout is actually the migration of your content into the new system. And most of you probably received an email from June Yang earlier this week about, or last week, about the concept of how the migration process will go. And we're looking first, since the first courses that will be fully taught in Canvas will be winter term and spring terms, we're opening up those and we'll be working with the faculty for those first. And what we're doing is we're moving content over from all content that you currently have in Blackboard into the new system. Now, it won't be structured the same that you have it in Blackboard. The systems just aren't compatible that way. But when you go into Canvas and look for your content, you should find all of your content and all of your assessments available to you there. So we can help you focus on how to rebuild that content to structure it in a way that you're comfortable with for teaching within Canvas. So that's one of the big pieces. So we're working primarily, initially, with the spring and winter term courses that are coming up in 2013. Next, we're actually going to move to the organization spaces. There are a number of organization spaces that are out on our system, or non-credit course spaces, or basically systems that don't fit into regular terms. And there are a number of pieces that we need to help figure out how to rebuild those spaces within this. One of the benefits that we're doing is a number of our tools that implement within the system are basically separated systems or third-party systems that are also cloud-based. So if you have a lot of wiki information or blog information that you're using currently in Blackboard, that system, Learning Objects, is something that we're going to be able to port over. So you're still going to have access to all of that content that sits on those systems. And so it's really something that makes things a little bit easier than having to export that content from one wiki and move it into another system. Next, we'll actually work with the summer courses, and that'll be taught in the summer of 2013. And we were grabbing the content from the previous 2 terms for all of the courses and moving it forward into Canvas. And finally, in the spring, we'll work with the building courses for the fall. Now, anytime you go into this, I mean, you're not stuck just with those times available, but that'll be when we'll be providing focused or dedicated time to those courses that are going to be taught in those terms. One thing to know is that Blackboard will be turned off on June 30th, 2013. That's when our contract with Blackboard ends. So the benefit of actually working now in rebuilding your space is that you'll be able to go back and look at your current Blackboard space through that time. So we will have an overlap period where you can actually work within Canvas, but go back and see how things were structured. So as you rebuild your content and rebuild your courses, you're going to be able to get those pieces right there. So that's kind of an overview of our rollout, our evaluation process, and some of the strengths of the system. Any other questions you want to ask? And some of them, if I can't answer them, I see a number of my staff online, so I'm going to pass them to them.
Is it on? Mm-hmm. Hi, can I ask you a question?
Please, go ahead.
So the organization transfer, when do you plan on it?
I'm going to actually, Deb, do you have that in front of you? I don't have the calendar in front of me.
Could you repeat the question, please?
They're looking to know when the organizational content will be available on Canvas.
The migration plan has the movement of organization content starting in mid-November. So those spaces will be available on Canvas, and the content currently on Blackboard will be migrated mid-November. I can't tell you if that's November 14th or November 16th, but mid-November you'll then be able to access the space on Canvas and start to rebuild your organization space there.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Now, for these external users, that is, I understand for the University of Maryland ID, probably the access will be the same, I'm assuming so. But then for external users, can they keep the same user ID and the password to access Canvas?
We are working on that process. Probably initially, yes. We may. Any other questions?
You disappeared on us, so could not hear you at all.
I'm sorry, I seem to be losing some of this, but we are working. Initially, I will say yes, and we are working on different options that will actually make this process of allowing for external users much easier than we currently have it. But initially, to accommodate this, that will be the case. I would recommend that when we first move the content over, that you assume that you are still working within within the Blackboard space, at least until mid-December. And the reason for that is until we kind of figure out any of the bugs or you have a chance to rebuild your content, you may not want to have your all of your members in those organizations move directly into that space until you've been able to ensure that the space is clear and makes sense for your members. But once we do that, you will have access for those external members. And if there is a change on how they would log in, we will ensure that you understand that and are aware of that.
Okay. All right.
So I see that Alyssa Brooks asked about Canvas features that will accommodate courses primarily taught online. And there are features in all of the systems that we have, we've looked at. They're designed to do both enhanced courses. I think the interaction piece that happens within Canvas is probably one of the strongest features for online courses, because there are so many more ways to communicate and interact with your students. One piece that's built into the system is basically a Wimba-style tool. Now, we will be working at getting a more robust tool integrated into the system, but there's already one built into it, and if you called conferencing, and it's a very good tool. It has a few limitations in its current iteration. That's the reason we're looking to have something else integrated, but I think that's a very big tool to do some live interaction with your students. I'm going to Okay. Alyssa, did that answer your question? Okay. And now I see that Nancy Stewart has asked a question about administering a non-term course. She wants to know if she can keep it open for the students to access beyond December 2012. Generally, what we would ask that by January 1st that all courses, term-based and non-term-based, are taught within the Canvas space. If there's special reason and we need to talk about that, we can look at those options. But we are encouraging no active users in the Blackboard space starting January 1st. Any other questions?
Basically, so basically for the process, if I understand correctly, that we just wait till you transfer us and you're gonna let us know. Is that right?
Correct. The initial message has gone out about the process, and that, you know, as Deb pointed out, the non-term-based courses and organizations should be moved over in mid-November. And once that is done, you'll have access to the space there. If you want to move before that time, we can work with you to do that, and you can, we'll show you how to move your content that as well. But we will be doing an automatic move of content over before that time, or by mid-November for those pieces.
Yeah, mid-November plan sounds fine for us. We'll just wait for you.
Great, thanks. Any other questions? Okay. If not, I want to thank you. I appreciate everybody being in attendance. One of the things that I want to make you aware of is that all fall we'll be covering different topics on the next gen ELMS product, Canvas. And as we look forward to next week, we're going to be working with 2 instructors who are actually teaching within the system in the pilot, and they'll be talking about Canvas itself from an instructor perspective. The week after, we're actually going to be looking at it from a student perspective. And then throughout the rest of the fall, we're looking at it for at various aspects of the system and how to use the communication technologies, the migration pieces, as well as a variety of the different aspects of Canvas itself. So this is a great way we'll be able to do this. We're also going to be archiving all of the sessions. So if you're not able to make some, but you do want to hear what happened in those sessions, you're going to be able to catch that online after the session has actually happened. So thank you very much. I appreciate everybody being here. And again, if you have any questions that are coming up, you can go to you can send email to nextgenelms@umd.edu, and that'll actually help everybody. Will be able to jump in and answer those questions, and feel free to contact us at any time. So great, thank you very much. I hope you all have a great afternoon. Goodbye.
Thank you.